execute on the things that they say they wanted to get done. Not what you want me to get done, my mother wants me to get done, my coach wants me to, but the things that I really feel like if I do these things, I'm going to be successful. Execute on the things that you like. There are a group of people that feel like it's okay not to execute because I'm not feeling okay, because today is not a good day, because all the stars didn't line up. And at the end of the day, none of that matters. Like, to have a good day is great, but just because you have a good day, you still got to execute. And so I think for most is self, like, yo, this doesn't matter. What matters is the success that I want, what I promised my grandmother, what I promised my mother, what I promised my wife, what I promised myself. And so Inky's thing was, yo, despite this happening, I owe it to myself to still be the person that I dreamed of being, and this setback will only be a setup for a comeback. You're already in pain. Get a reward for it. Like, you're already in pain. So at the end of the day, everything is already messed up. So why would you go through all that pain and not get something for it? Like, it doesn't make sense. Like, it doesn't make sense to put all those hours in. Okay, yeah, it was football, but it doesn't make sense to put all those hours in and not transfer those hours to something else. It doesn't make sense not to recycle the pain and get wealth or a successful life, a successful spouse, like whatever, have kids, whatever it is. And so for me, just going through my go-through, I was like, it can't end here. Like, bro, it can't end here. I've worked too hard. I've read the books. I've gone to the conferences. I went to the classes. I got the degrees. Like, it can't end with just life is gonna deal me this hand, you know? And so I truly feel, and I don't wanna promote gambling, you know, but I gambled, you know, as a young adult to make money. And I watched guys who had a royal flush lose because of the giddy and the excitement. I'm like, oh, he got something. You know what I'm saying? Okay, take what I have and leave. But I also watch people who had nothing in their hand with that poker face actually act as if they had a royal flush and win. And so I learned early, like, yo, it doesn't matter if you grow up rich. You still got to play your hand. It's not like life says, all right, you rich, so you're not going to have any, your parents will never get cancer. You know, nobody in your family will ever have multiple sclerosis. Like, you'll never get COVID. You're rich. It doesn't work like that. Like, you still have to do life regardless of how you come into life. And I think some people feel, well, if you come into life and everything is great, then that's the way you live life. But no, it doesn't matter. If you come in great, if you come in poorly, it does not matter. You have to do life. And not necessarily church, because I didn't grow up going to church. So it wasn't like the building. It's magical. But the pastor there was a military man. I think he was an army man. You know, so he had love, but it was tough love, right? And I'll never forget, he pulled me to the side and he gave me something that I had never had before, and that was purpose. He gave me a sense of purpose, and he said to me, you are a phenomenal speaker. You gotta imagine, I'm like 16, almost 17, high school dropout, coming to church smelling, you know what I'm saying? Like, I think it's so funny, like when people are like, your story, I think that's funny. They're like, man, you have a phenomenal story. I'm like, I wish this was a story. Yeah. Like, this is my life. So I'm literally coming to church when I come, haven't brushed my teeth, I haven't taken a shower. I smell based on whatever was the last time I had an opportunity to take a shower. You know, I'm in a strained relationship with my mom. I'm on the verge of getting kicked out of school. I have no bank account, no credit cards. And this guy looks at me and says, you're gonna be a phenomenal speaker. Like, you got that je ne sais quoi. You have something about, and I'm thinking, what? First of all, nobody's ever said anything like that to me before. And nobody's definitely said it in the state that I'm in. And so for me, I'm pulling for strings for something in life. And this guy's like, yo, you got it. And not only do you have it, I believe in you so much that I'm gonna use my name at my alma mater to get you in school. If you could just get a high school diploma or a GED, we're gonna get you. And so I don't know if it was him, I don't know if it was the words, but this sense of purpose and this identity, like, yo, you're right. I've never seen speaking in the way he saw it before. I got in trouble clowning in class, telling jokes, but now he's saying that what I do, what Martin Luther King, what Malcolm X, what Garvey, what these people do, you have the ability to do it. And it was at that point, I wasn't homeless, and I don't think I've ever said this before, but I was homeless, But I wasn't discouraged at that point anymore. Like, it was the craziest thing. I was literally homeless practicing sermons. I was literally homeless visualizing being in college. You know, at that time, A Different World was on a spinoff, you know, from the Cosby Show. And like, you could actually, I was like watching A Different World and seeing myself in the cafeteria, seeing myself in the dorm room. So this was the first time in my life that I had this sense of life, this sense of purpose that, yo, I am not worthless, despite the fact that what I considered, my parents, they weren't married. They weren't in a long relationship. Like, I saw myself as an accident. Like, these are two kids, you know what I'm saying? I don't know if it was in love, in lust, I don't know what it was, but there wasn't a nursery. There wasn't a book with names. You know, there wasn't a baby shower. You know, I looked at myself like I'm an accident. And this is the first person who spoke to me and said, really, you're not an accident. You really were designed to be here, and you have a phenomenal gift that's gonna change the world. And it was at that point, I'm in abandoned buildings, seeing myself speak. I'm in abandoned buildings, you know, seeing crowds. I'm in abandoned buildings, seeing myself travel. And it was at that point, I believe, that this Eric Thomas, not this version, I was definitely the Eric Thomas 1.0, but it was at that point that I began to see myself in a way I'd never seen myself before.
All right.
I just wanted a career. I never even heard the word billionaire before. I never heard anybody say the word. I didn't even know what that meant. And one day I was in the room with Dan Gilbert and Warren Buffett.
Damn.
And I was like, whoa, God, why am I here? Like, I'm not a billionaire. Like, I'm not, like, what would I be in this, like, what did they call me for? Why did they invite me into this room? And I started doing my homework. Who else is in the, went back. I thought I was, a detective. I'm trying to figure out, okay, who else is in the room? Why are they in the room? What's their network? And then one day it hit me. You're in the room because you're going to be this one day. So everything you heard, you didn't hear it just to hear it, just to be in the room. Like, you heard it because you can do real estate. Like venture capital, you can do that. These are all humans in this room. So for me, I was taken into a reality that I didn't know exists. And Jamal says it best. Your level of exposure often determines your level of success. So I was exposed to billionaires. So what I try to get kids to do is say, look, I want to expose you. You could go to LA without going to LA. You can put the things on and go to LA. You can go on the computer. You can read a book. Like, you can get to sunset without ever going. And then once you get to sunset here and get to sunset here, you can get to sunset here. Say it, because I need you to understand what you have. And then I need you to appreciate what you have. And then I need you to go after everything that's got your name on it with no excuses. Because when I pulled up and I saw, the skyline, I was like, yo, do you know there were people 400 years ago, 300 years ago, who were in the process of building this, and it was a vision and they never got to experience it? Like, no, do you know what type of mindset you have to build something that you know that you're not gonna get to enjoy, but yet you put energy into it because you're thinking about the next generation? You've got this vision that's gonna outlast you. Like, that's grand.